Hello everyone. Today I am making a small video on the uh, sort of an event, summon rate up, I guess, whatever you can call it. Basically a little guide on which of the ravens you should choose if you have around 200 scrolls. I'll be reviewing their skills. I'll be giving my opinion on which one is the best to focus on, as there is currently an event where you can summon the mystical scrolls and get some additional rewards. So if you summon 200, for example, I'm looking at a legendary scroll, 10 mysticals, and another 12,000 crystals. So make sure to, in my opinion, summon before the event ends, as we are unsure whether we're getting a similar event before the summer dates up are removed. So yeah, jumping into the skills of all three ravens. First of all, we'll review the fire one. The fire one is actually free. You can get one copy for free from the monster story that was recently added. So the last one will give you the net 5 here. And his skills are pretty much, all of them are assassin types if you are looking into the types of the monsters. And their skills are, so the first one, the fire one has a upgraded basic attack compared to the rest. So attacks the enemy 2 times and deals damage that ignores beneficial effects. Each hit has a certain chance to deal defense penetration damage that ignores the target's beneficial effects. So essentially this unit is kind of good into a lot of those bosses that buff up various buffs, so like defense buff, shield, invincibility, stuff like that. So the basic attack damage goes right through all of those buffs, and additionally there is a 35% chance to deal 40% defense penetration damage. So this means that you do not even need a defense break to deal increase damage to the enemies. The second skill is Zero Shift, so swiftly moves to attack the enemy target. This attack ignores the target's beneficial effects. In addition, applies evasion up and attack speed up to itself. So the buffs last 16 seconds, so you are unable to get you are unable to keep the buffs at all times if you have this unit in uh, any other slot than your Soul Link one. The third skill strikes up, leaps backward, and attacks the enemy target 2 times by releasing a wave of sword. This attack ignores the target's beneficial effects. In addition, uses Zero Shift with a certain chance if Raven has attack speed up over a certain effect. So Zero Shift is of course the second skill. So if he does have level 3 attack speed up, there is a 90% chance, so very high chance, to use the second skill completely for free. This means that there's even more benefit to uh, just focusing on using the third skill rather than the second. So even if you are using him in a Soul Link slot, it is best to focus his ability usage solely to the third skill, and you can do so through the settings in game. So if you are unsure, that you can set it up through the game, and you can set it here. So basically remove the Soul Link 1 and you will only be using the third skill of whatever unit is set there. And yeah, so the Fire one, he has a few more abilities. I believe there's a passive, and yeah, this is a passive, so applies attack speed up to itself with a certain chance if the attack successfully hits. It's only a 5% chance, and for what I've used, you will not have more than 1 or 2 levels of this at all times. Of course, this increases based on the attack speed you have, and the more attack speed you get, the more chances he gets to get this. So it's sort of a unit where it starts off slow, but if you are lucky to get a higher attack speed with RNG, he'll be able to stack it slowly, because the more he attacks, the more attack speed he gets, but the more attack speed he gets, the more, even more he attacks. So in the beginning of the fight, you will most likely be looking at level 1 or level 2, and as the fight progresses, if he's constantly hitting the target, he'll slowly start to level that up all the way up to level 10. But however, this will take a long time to level up. From what I've used him, if he's constantly hitting a unit, after a good half a minute, he's at around level 4 or 5 attack speed. So it definitely takes some time to level it up. And of course, you initially need high attack speed for the unit itself, so you will need most likely a Swift set as well as attack speed slot 2 and some decent substats on all of the other runes. And the ultimate strikes up, leaps backwards, and attacks the enemy target 3 times by releasing a wave sword. This attack ignores the target's beneficial attack. In addition, applies attack speed up to itself and to. So yeah, all of his skills ignore beneficial effects on units. So first of all, just because he's a basic attack unit, he is instantly very good for a lot of dungeons. Uh, the fact that he ignores beneficial effects is a really great bonus in both PvE and PvP, since you can easily counter a lot of teams like Chloe's, Vusas, and stuff like that. It even goes through Bastet shields, through all of that. So you can go into those safer defenses and knowing that you will be just hitting through those and doing damage with him, as long as you are able to protect him, of course. Since if he dies, you are most likely not gonna breach through those shields and invincibilities with the other 2 units. So yeah, this guy, very basic attack focused, very sort of attack speed build focus, I guess, and he will be just doing, I wouldn't say huge damage, but he will be doing decent damage at a very constant pace. You can easily get with the buff and the your initial rune build, you'll easily be able to get like 4 or 5 attacks per second. However, those attacks won't be doing massive damage. They'll be hitting like 1 to 2,000 per hit. But yeah, of course, everything depends on both your skill ups and your rune quality. And jumping to the fire one, so his basic attack is actually, it does not provide anything, just a regular damage multiplier. The second attack strikes up to attack the enemy target and explodes frostbite if the target has the effect. In addition, applies resistance down, then leaves backwards and attacks 2 times by releasing Wave of Sword. So yeah, he applies level 3 resistance down, and before I review this skill, I'll read through the other two, since his skills sort of need to be in a combo to be effective at all, and alone those skills are not really effective. So jumping a third skill swiftly slashes the enemy target 4 times, and each hit has a certain chance to apply frostbite, then strikes down hard to attack. Yeah, this sentence always gets me. The cooldown of Excel stream decreases for each frostbite that applies. So if we are not looking at the ultimate, essentially, he's hitting 4 times and he has a 60% chance to apply level 1 frostbite. So on average, you are looking at around 2.4 frostbites per third skill, or so on average that will be either 2 frostbites or 3 frostbites in most cases. Those frostbites will last for 20 seconds, and if you are able to combo it into the second skill, you will be able to explode that frostbite to do all of the damage over time in one hit. So you can imagine that if you have, let's say, level 2 frostbite for 20 seconds, that will be 1.8% of max HP every second. For 20 seconds, that is 36% of the max HP. So essentially, if you are able to land 2 frostbites with the third skill and instantly follow up with the second skill, you are looking to do around 36% of max HP damage, plus whatever the damage the third and the second skill deal by themselves. If you are able to combo it with, for example, a level 3 frostbite, that will of course increase to 2.5 times 20, that's 50% damage, so you're looking at 50% plus the damage from these two abilities. The problem with this unit is he is sort of reliant on his ultimate, since his ultimate is where most of the damage comes from. So his ultimate is spins in the air to attack the enemy target 3 times, and each hit has a certain chance to apply frostbite, then strikes down hard to attack 4 times, and additionally uses extreme stream after the last hit. And that is the second skill. So essentially, he does similar ability to the third skill. However, once you use the ultimate, it is instantly followed up by the second skill, so you don't even need to waste either mana or wait for cooldowns for that tick damage to happen. You will instantly just explode a huge amount of damage. The damage you are looking at is you are hitting 3 times, and you have a 75% chance to apply frostbite. So on average, it is 2.25 frostbite. So in most cases, you are looking at around a level 2 frostbite to be applied. This means once again that you are looking at, I believe it's 20 seconds. Yep. So you're looking at 36% max HP damage just by using ultimate alone, since this one will be activated for free. And essentially, this means that you are able to do a good chunk of damage to any unit. However, it needs really good setup, and in most cases to kill, you will need to do a combo of third skill, second skill, ultimate second skill, or vice versa. So ultimate followed by this, and then activating third skill and second skill. And even then, the problem with this unit is this damage relies on accuracy. So if you do not have high accuracy, or you just simply miss the debuff, or the enemy resists the debuff, you're potentially losing all of the damage, since the skills themselves don't hit that hard. The multipliers are pretty low, so like 4 times 66, that's around 260%, and 207 here, so close to 500% multiplier, which is very low, since even nat 3 units usually have like 800% multipliers on their second skills. So the damage is very low without it. But if you do manage to land the frostbite, you are able to bring one of the units very low, assuming you are using the ultimate. So for this, we'll have to take it into account, the hard setup that you need to do with him when looking at which one to choose. And with that in mind, we're jumping to the third one. So the basic attack, similar to the water one, is just this regular damage. The second skill, let's go with max one, moves swiftly to attack the enemy target and roots with a certain chance. In addition, applies evasion up to itself. So pretty much 100% chance to root for 10 seconds and evasion up for 20 seconds. So first of all, the root effect, it simply just places you in place, and it does not prevent you from attacking or using skills, which is kind of bad, since that does mean you're only stopping the, or like freezing the unit in place, but it can still hit you back, or hit anyone on your team back, whoever is hitting you. That sort of loses a lot of merit in what the skill actually provides, and if you take away the root, essentially, you are left with a very decent multiplier and just a self buff for evasion. So yeah, the second skill is quite underperforming for this unit, but this third skill is, I feel like, a little bit of a redemption there. So swiftly slashes the enemy target 4 times, and each hit has a certain chance to apply damage taken up. Then strikes down hard to deal defense penetrating damage. All hits penetrate through the target's defense if the target is rooted, and the last hit is guaranteed to land as a critical hit. So first of all, you also need a combo of second skill into third skill. Second of all, this combo also needs to have some accuracy, since you are potentially looking at a 90% chance here. You remove whatever resistance, resistance versus accuracy check the enemy will have, and you are left with a way lower chance to land the root. And on top of that, since you are mostly trying to build this guy for damage, you'll be having a hard time getting those accuracy substats. So the initial setup needed for the root to deal the maximum damage here is a little hard. And as you can see, if the target is rooted, the defense penetration is 50%. And yeah, since he lands 4 times, in most cases he will land the damage taken up, and he will land not only level 1 but maybe even 2 or 3 on average. So you're looking at around 30, maybe to up to 36% damage, additional damage on top of that. So in a lot of cases, if you want to ignore the defense, you'll need very high quality runes or a sort of a specific build for him. If you are not able to do that, it will be very hard to use his potential for the very high level nuke, as his multiplier is definitely pretty high for the skill. And yeah, jumping into the ultimate, this is also similar to the water one. The wind guy is very dependent on his ultimate to do the most of his damage. So spins in the air to attack the enemy target 3 times, and each hit has a certain chance to apply damage taken up. Then strikes down hard to deal defense penetrating damage 4 times. All hits penetrate through the target's defense if the target is rooted. And slash down is guaranteed to land as a critical hit. Is slash down one of his skills? No, it's not. Okay, so this is basically a sort of a upgraded skill 2 into skill 3 combo in one skill. So you will need to root the target prior to it, so there's no getting away with it, and you will need accuracy to deal most of the damage for this unit overall. If you are managed to land the root with the second skill and follow it up quickly with the ultimate, you are potentially looking at a massive damage of first of all, so 3 hits, that is 155 for each hit, so around 460% damage there. Then you are looking at a defense penetrating damage, so 50% penetration, and that damage is 335% per hit. So imagine you are doing what is this, 460 regular damage, and then a massive 1000, close to 1300 or 1400 even percent of damage, and it is 50% defense penetration. That is a huge multiplier compared to the rest of the units in game, as even the high damage units usually have like 800 to 900% multipliers, rarely 1000. So this being 1400 plus the defense penetration, it is basically guaranteed to one-shot a lot of units, except maybe if the unit is fire, since you will have both less damage and a lower chance to land critical hits. But if you are able to combo the second skill, and the enemy of course does not have any immunity or cleanse to cleanse that root, and you are able to follow that with an ultimate, you are looking at a one-shot of any other unit that you are targeting. So yeah, so having all of these abilities in mind, first of all, I have to say that the water one I do not recommend picking under any circumstance, since his damage is reliant on accuracy, and if you are relying on accuracy and have like runes that are built for example, damage plus accuracy substats, you are way better off using the wind one, since the damage potential there is way higher, especially with his ultimate. So water one, I give it a hard no. The wind one, he will be useful for PvP mostly, since you are looking to one-shot units rather than do consistent damage with an ultimate. So wind guy, of course, take into account the elements that you are getting. So the wind one will of course have a hard time countering fire stuff, or the fire one will have hard time countering water stuff. But the wind one you take if you like PvP a lot. This of course mostly applies to Brawl Arena now, since this is where I see the most potential for him. Brawl Arena, maybe even Battlefield, if you are able to somehow stack up your skills in there. If you do not like that content, or you simply do not like him as a unit, Fire 1 is an amazing option to take as well. even if you get the free one, you will still be getting 20 pieces for the summon if you choose it from here. With those 20 pieces, you are looking at an additional, essentially without the pieces you will be able to level him up to level 9 only. So at level 9 he gets, for example, for me it's 80,000 power, but he's still missing skill up, so there's way more potential there. Level 10 you will be able to level up using the pieces, and level 11 you can level up without pieces, but without level 10 you are of course unable to unlock level 11. So if you like the wind one and you like PvP content a lot, I recommend using, or rather picking, that one. If you do not like the wind one and either don't like his skills or do not enjoy PvP content in general, I highly recommend going for the fire one, since the fire one will be a lot of use in a lot of PvE content. From what I've seen, just to name a few, for example, he is pretty much the #1 counter for this guy, since this boss brings up immunity. You will pretty much need a Karambit to do this dungeon at all, and he'll also be useful in both of these as well. He's amazing when you're doing auto for this guy, for example, since you can just click auto and not worry about any of the buffs that appear during the fight, since he simply ignores all of them. And yeah, one more important thing is, if you do switch the fire one, remember that you are getting some additional power from this, since you will have the free one already unlocked from the story. You will get a level up to his book, and that level 1 effect will give you 95% attack and 3% attack speed, and that's only if you get one of them. If you get multiple ones while summoning for the guaranteed one, you're of course looking at an even higher buff. So you can also just take into account that the fire one will, regardless of how many you summon and which one you choose, will also have one level higher book, since this one is free. And if you summon, for example, 3 fire ones, or the 3 water ones, or the 3 wind ones, your water one will only have book level 2, while your fire will have book level 3, and he will also always have that small advantage of some extra stats, so basically attack and attack speed compared to the other. So for example, this one gives accuracy mostly, this one gives kill damage, but the overall buff of the fire one will be a tiny bit stronger. And yeah, hopefully this helps you choose which one you should go for. Just to summarize, water is a no-go. Wind one if you like PvP, and especially live PvP such as Brawl Arena and sometimes Battlefield. If you do not enjoy that, go for the fire one. You definitely won't miss if you summon him. I personally will be going for the fire one, since I'm looking to use him in raids and other PvP content a lot. And yeah, so that's about it, and I'll see you in the next one.